Welcome, Ravneet, to Heart versus Mind Interfaith Conversation. Today, we hope to engage in a conversation on Sikhism and the beautiful festival of Lohri uh, through a dialogue with you. So, let me get started by asking you to briefly introduce yourself, and then I'll have a set of questions for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Nidhi, for having me. I am, as Nidhi said, I'm Ravneet Chadha. I'm a mom of two kids, 11 and 9, who go to the Melbourne School District. I am also a photographer, specializing in interior and architectural design photography.
Know that so many of us around the world identify Sikhism with long hair.
So let me start by talking a little bit about the religion, what the word Sikh means. A Sikh is a learner and a seeker. And the religion is about 500 years old. It was founded in late 15th century. And it's one of the fifth largest religions in the world, with a population of roughly 25 million as of the early 21st century. It is a monotheistic religion where they believe in the oneness of God, that God is one. So hair is related to one of the core, not core beliefs, it's more of, it's a God's creation. And the Sikhs are expected to keep it, preserve it, and it's beautiful. Along with the other four Ks, it's actually 5 Ks. I wouldn't go into the Punjabi word, but the English translations of those 5 Ks is case, which is hair. There is a bracelet that Sikhs wear. There is a dagger that mostly initiated Sikhs wear. And there is a long underwear, which is part of the 5 Ks, and a comb. So the hair, actually the hair was also, it was meant to identify Sikhs. So remember, Sikh religion came about at the time of a lot of religious persecution, where there was a lot of conversion happening. So it was also meant to identify Sikhs separate from others, so they could uphold their identity and religious beliefs.
Fabulous. This is so fascinating. So I remember from my reading of history that yes, as you said, it originated in India, and and it was a resistance to persecution, as you said, religious persecution. And I also know that Sikhism has, as you said, there's oneness of God, and there is no casteism in Sikhism, right? So that definitely differentiates it from the then existing religion of Hinduism in India, as well as I can imagine that if there were Mughal emperors, there was Islam, and so then came about this new religion, which was talking about oneness. And I also remember that there was a certain militancy associated with creating this religion, and so the fact that there were warriors who went out, they didn't have time to cut hair. So long hair became a part of their symbol and their identity. In preserving the truth, they were so involved that they didn't want to do this. I think that's something I remember learning. And so all of this then boils down to how we perceive modern Sikhs, long hair, the bracelet, as you mentioned, and so on. So that would be how a Sikh person might look. But as you said, in our modern existence, they can choose to cut hair, right? And that makes them as much a Sikh as any other. Am I saying that?
Absolutely correct. I think Sikhism is also held up by core beliefs. The core beliefs of Sikhism, which are also articulated in Guru Granth Sahib, which is a book of holy scriptures. So the core beliefs are selfless service, which all Sikhs are sort of expected and they do it. You could do selfless service in many different ways. It could be cooking in the temple and serving the poor. It could be cleaning the temple. It could be with your time and intellect. You could be teaching somebody who needs education. It could be monetary, which is like every rich or poor, everyone is likes to contribute to the society monetarily where it's needed. Um, then also striving for justice and equality for all. That's also one of the core beliefs, which is, as you said, no caste system. So everyone is equal. When you go to a temple, everyone sits on the floor and eats, rich or poor. Then there's also Sikhs are expected to live on an honest livelihood. Um, and the most important is prayers, daily prayers and meditation to be one with the divine. So these are some core beliefs that makes a Sikh person Sikh. And it doesn't essentially, in the modern world, not everybody keeps hair. So yeah.
Sure. So I know you mentioned that these are the core beliefs and that they're actually almost indoctrinated into everyday life. And there are terms for it. So sometimes the sound of foreign terms is so beautiful. I'd love for you to just tell us just the words. I know there's kirat or something like, so why don't you take that lead?
Okay, so kirat karna is hard work. Like kirat means you earn your living with hard work. Nam japna is like prayers and meditation. And Vand chakna is where I talked about sharing your income. It really doesn't mean wealth, it's just sharing your income with the needy. So those
And
are,
and the seva.
and seva. Seva is selfless service.
Yeah. And Seva, the selfless service, I think is another feature that I personally have identified so much with Sikhism and my Sikh friends, because as you rightly said, the Sikh temple, the Gurudwara, when you go there, there is a great semblance of oneness in that. Of course, there is the ever yummy langar, the meal being served, absolutely free, and it is being cooked by volunteers, as you said, the seva. So you and I could go, and I have actually had the good fortune of having friends ask me to join them to contribute and volunteer there. And I think it's a very interesting anecdote. In the very recent times, in the pandemic, there is a very famous chef now, Vikas Khanna, uh,
Mhm.
whose origins from Amritsar area, India, and he is a chef here. He's given out like millions of free meals to people during the pandemic. And when he was asked by a BBC reporter that, is it because you're from India and, you must have seen so much hunger that you identified with hunger? He actually said that, on the contrary, I'm from Amritsar, where not even a dog goes to sleep hungry.
Right.
Of the langar that is 24/7 being served for free, rich, healthy meals being given for free. So he kind of really created this global aura of giving and seva in the very recent times. And I think that was very fascinating. So let me get back to you and your household. You are such an integral part of our community. I know today is Lohri. So what does Sikh household do on the festival of Lohri, which is today, January 13, right? So tell us something about the festival and what do you guys do?
So, Lodi, happy Lodi, by the way. So, bonfires are actually central to Lodi, Lodi celebration. And the reason Lodi is celebrated is it's the start of the harvest season. So, what people traditionally used to do in the agricultural world of Punjab was like there used to be huge communal bonfires set up, and people would dance around it, sing around it, And of course, there's a lot of food involved. So that's how they would celebrate. And it's also a way of giving gratitude to the sun and fire for giving them warmth for their crops. And in today's modern world or in the urban world, what I have witnessed growing up is also their neighborhood kids would go from door to door singing these specific Lohri songs and asking for like a little bit of a gift. So it would be a monetary gift. So that's how it was. And even in the urban world, there would be like a little bonfire in the street where people would come and join, throw popcorns, and there's flat rice and things like that that are associated with the agriculture. In today's modern world or modern household in the West, we would still try to keep it alive by doing a bonfire, inviting friends, family, and eating and dancing, and it's more or less somewhat the same.
So it is essentially a community celebration of sorts. Uh,
Yeah,
Whatever, it could be your family, it could be your extended family, or if you lived in a close set neighborhood, then you could invite your neighbors, or you needn't even invite. That's what I remember. That a fire would be put up, and it is always on January 13th. It's
that's right.
a harvest festival, so it is celebrating the bounty. And for that, a brief background would be that Punjab, the area from where Sikhs hail, Punjab in India, in the western part of India, is an extremely fertile area. It's one of the most fertile areas in the world, as a matter of fact, and was the cradle of the Indus Valley civilization, somewhat in that area. And so it has rivers, it has a lot of agriculture, and that's again another thing that we identify our Sikhs in India in particular with, is like hardy agricultural work and production of food for literally the breadbasket of India. So celebrating that harvest around this time is what Lohri is about. That's what you're telling us, right? And so for all of us, what should your non-Sikh neighbors do? Should they be wishing you? Should they be saying Happy Lohri to you?
Yeah, absolutely. We love to hear that.
All right. So that's something to say. And then if they see a bonfire in your backyard, they can always come and say Happy Lohri and partake in the sweets if you're eating any, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, it's a community festival. So, yes.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think especially given that it's a winter festival, a bonfire would be just what we all need, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. And so tell me, the Sikhs have a temple which is called what? And what is the holy site of Sikhism? If there is a Mecca of Sikhism, where is that?
So, Sikh temple is called a Gurdwara. Um, they are traditionally, there are Gurdwaras anywhere there's a Sikh. You could actually even make a Gurdwara in your house. But wherever there's a big population, pretty much every neighborhood has a Gurdwara. The Mecca of Sikh temples is in Amritsar, and it's called the Golden Temple. Um, it was it was supposed to be. I think it was nominated for UNESCO World Heritage Site, but then it being religious, they decided not to go for it. And then the other most key feature about this particular Gurdwara is it has four entrances, which means people from any faith, any caste, any economic background is welcome to come from all four entrances. So that is the beauty of the religion. And again, langar is served there all the time, and everybody eats there, and it's just it's one of the most beautiful things about, I think, the religion.
Is there anything else that you?
Um, I think Sikh greeting is, I think, very special. We greet each other by saying the word Sat Sri Akal, which means truth reigns eternal. So I think we should all know that.
That's beautiful. Sat Shri Akal. That's beautiful. Yeah, Sat is truth and Akal is forever, right? So,
Yeah. And you do it the same way as you do Namaste, by joining your hands.
all right, then, Sat Shri Akal to you, Ravneet.
Sat Sri
Thank you
Akal.
so much for joining us here. And I hope everyone has learned a little bit. And we can all go out and say Happy Lohri to people we know would love to celebrate that. Yes?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Nidhi.